mari tarla jare na ñop ni kura ona do kono amu sosota wala be gulal gambia bi halifa ñulu Pdois ibil na sobota be ñulu na ko ñi mu fene de melon ko manyana ka tra bal wurin ten do jawabana ajarama emite kati yo mbarin jimme men fanan audio ara mba fale bismillah to Pdois barka bake anda mobe kontra na jam hani kabe ko men Dr. Sisela Kodro aketa molti me alon ko amum fahamuro ke safaro Kenya la banko sambanyata bawo gambia keta banko de melon ko ne mola bi jande ma famol bi jang ko woli singi be banko kono le ika itandi la ko be woli singala ni nyesi be kala dilando damente yala ko ka fume ko sovereign national wealth ko be kala gambia dingol be la na fulo le ka be tara la ngin ni bodo sovereign national wealth e be fenne bon la je yo sambamento cooperative bank soldo ni sama cooperative bank ko do bina mun la kan ko de senelalu momo kamen sene ye sene jorangol sanmu wala ka ke tragedol ti pawati lalu angarelu turolu yadila kan melan ko dontoro kan wala ni parte ko do ya sendina ni asendi lan kan te karla je lan kan wala kan te karla ko mo ko bank men ko molla hani ni don da gas tan be de sumo ne jola yo hani wonte cooperative bank ko ni iba jelale ko senelali de sembentu yala ne ko kono men fanan be métier karamola men ko mun ko GTT ay ka dindingol men tay ke jimdi school of nursing ka mol men jimdi school of education school of agriculture won be ke le dinkira le men yalan ko ko dal yimbe yele jorangol be sanni ibe do ko kala men wala tinna nga fale Dr. Sise keta mol be yalan ko gambia kunna ko mbadu amala amang gambia kunna kulo amang gambia la problem mo long ata keno la modi me yalan ko be lo la halifa nyata wala tinna kaburi ani nga munen bondi amoko kana fo ko de jamma ke economic class ki bon ko sambo si tano economic ko mo hani atira no economic ko mo gamben ko woto halifa sala ay benka kuno mo fenne de mala ko ka fu me ka mo la mindful refresh wala ka mo hakilo bulande kuno wala kana bawo minister place wala albe yalo ne nyanda ka tano nyaadi le mbe committee le setup la men yalo go be gambe dingol tala yela kayto dube ali ajela wakata le no mol men yalo go be marlana economy le na safaro Kenya la wala kayto be na do men ko doy ma fa motina do ko kala ni banko ba men do be man ka do ko da ako gambe dingol men yalo go la londo be buli la taka do ko kala banko e woli nana yela kayto di ye dube do place di la fa do ko di la fa tano ministal fana yana yela kaytol tangati yela asexual declare wala jide la soto bulo menti bam account jelle be bulo ko da jelle be bulo ni ministal membe ke bi o kala bam e mo ke kabrin halifa je ko o manke e kam wala bulo muda e ke na de ka fo minister place o di le la le e bam far ita kala to tasise ni lonne ni ne fata ni ne do keri wana halifa ida ndala ko to nya be name gambia ngam membe sabe kam ngol membe kata ita mantara wol no makam andum to nyala o mantara no makam gambia ko al ko silo gede hanal to men fondo sandola bi den men me ko manda karamudo yalla ne me abna halifa ne basi di anen do ko mo place ota because muna do president ta la lota aketa executive president ka fo me yake wode nde ngawlen executive president mo president nde tala do ko la di sama nge bay ko mata fala je do ko ba far wota ka den fol ko man fara wata kala nyim man ke fende me alon ko wala min na kam dama tamen nyim ne nyinin karol ti min alon ko Dr. Sise be talabula ala ko Dr. Sise ko ay mur karam modo anin asemba journalism so bije ay nyinin kar si fa men ke journalism lon kal tax le de kay tan la ko alta karam mo molle be sirim ban la moy kam balu jude kan mbal cross kan alla nyinin karol anala do kile mo fana ne do o kemol sana mole joragol sana mole wolbe do ko kala menna bari altaru lal gambia do men kataji bi ni gambia mu sol je dama ndewol be bulu do ko to ni sol be fe falol be fe be hulu mutala wo kono bundal ye bo sa ye kin ye bo kono ye tayta do mo me alon ko amar de chane do mandi ite mari tarla jare na ngop ni kura ona do kono amu sosota wala be gulal gambia bi halifa ñulu Pdois ibil na sobota be ñullo na ko ñi mu fene de melon ko manyana ka tra bal wurin ten doku agriculture assemble doku abandale dunia kan to supply mano bari ka fa mole alka mobile jele alka television fando jele senelal men bial do tuba budi ka senefon ka seno kala nyane sembala doko dengo machinery agriculture le gambia sa keno ali mo juturim fawala hani man tay man na bari ka fo ilan ka mo wala na hani kabi journalist wala ka fo ko mon sakunda organ sabale soko ne daw den kilo lala nani jaw na bala wala jonnali sol place ta kan tal bulu doku banku doko to bari anin tilimo anin tonya akata wala di executive judicial legislative president officer loi bunda yana min to ko daga dictator bulu sabol bar nalla digre mo la tiara do alla banko ka tiara gambe do nata ke wala digre mo ke da bula di effect yesa tiara do so lo nin tango la spesi renje dipite ya fo mo mo fo fo mo mende fo mo mala wana dota sise ya nyine nga dota sise de banko sa fo la do president ya da so la banko ka na mo president ya so da bora tundo men da ta lo do dipite ya wo kono he can climb from the ladders gambe ko lo wato si da pour ali alo bar ngalo men de ke kan dipite mo kono ngalo ne men ya lo
assalamualaikum badin gambianolu nata kal konto doy Kachaa to kotake alnal badi maram safion drame ana bari musos ndey jeng mbal konto na bake altolla anal konto na anal trat la lamba fala yal bismillah kotake doy Kachaa mi alon kon nata le kanje karang albulu alfanal telefana nga mendilong amal sia nyawa nyaw safalien nal fanal be fendin tala wot kono al satawo kono mengan si yang walam doy kuoti anin Gambia kuo de lañu platform oto be ngalon ne respectful o damale be jam bunya anin horomo wol damale be jam ngalunta sota yenne o be nala nyata demanding me men nata skas keno jiber la dol be je wol nata science ay lafta kawol la moy safale pesenta demanding abe nala le nyato demanding abe busy in demanding pota be murula nanne maybe 30 or 45 minutes mba jalale woto janio be sila del nal si Kachaa nsaita lako dai mbale jang mbe Gambia la ko le Kachaa la aning baluo be ta kan Gambia nyame sister Ndeye bismillah be welcome la programme.
Thank you very much, Brother Safion, for inviting me onto your platform today, Kachaa with Safion. I'm saying good evening to you all. And today our topic would be centered on the social and culture situation in the Gambia and in connection with politics. Later in this program, we would be expecting to receive a big guest. But I would just keep the name for now. But I'm sure most of you already know who it is. So we'll be expecting to have him soon. But until then, bear with us, and then listening. We'll have Safiong run us through this program, and then we'll get it on from there. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Akamyum for wokuma atabake mbele nga mwenyola. Lafta kamen Kachaa bi sister Ndeye wolomu Gambia dingol be bolu ka nyaadi le nyoka parce que bi na baluo nyin sañi akole ata mol bulle mol man la nyola kotake fo foare alam bam fo politiko lembam fo sidla lembam mol ye Gambia di ya sañi ngawo jenken di karala le nkambulo chodi nyola le nkanyo hayna le itam surwalti itam jolalti itam mandinkolti itam sererewalti itam jo nyinsi kareleti instead doy be me advocate kan kabra lota kana fo bila oneness one people Gambia dingulu kaje ko ngani siyo bondi je nga religiono bondi je ngaje ko mbemu Gambia dinnati parce que itete keno la safionti mbediamu la jambi nga fo ko ndem mandin ko la instead ma moyente nyini ngay tam jumal to ma fa ko mo Gambia no tin ka fa ko ndem mandin ko so aka kuleyta ni mengalon ko ite ke fan warandi doltile parce que ite aje ko ite mu menti wala kumata adum fenne be kering albebe dendi menna parce que niaje ko banko dimo banko le kawulu fengo membe banko kono wala kake banko dimoti parce que membe Gambia ito mu lamin leti ba ito Mohamed leti ba ita folo ko ndako da Senegal ita folo ko Senegalais le mit niaje ko Senegal le awulu wala ke kay Senegalais niaje ko Gambia le awulu so wakata mannin katibam akata jola tibam akata sarawulo tibam akata siwo silati ni ko dron Gambia no lam that means Gambia le awulu woto wo Gambia di ya killing doybe wol ko mandirol la kamo be ke kilinti kaje ko ngawo folo jabang ni ngawo je est ce que mi situation o men kono bi la etela opinion to metara o kono welcome ibe mi utire
Yes, thank you very much, Safiong. What I would like to say is Gambia didn't get the name the smiling coast of West Africa just because of its geographical situation, or how it is geographically situated, rather, but because of the way that we actually coexisted in Gambia. Uh, Despite our differences in faith, you know, our cultures, or any sort of affiliation that we may have of difference. So this is, we used to live in a way where Gambians would celebrate each other's religious festivities. Like when Christmas came, we all joined in the celebration. When Tobaski came, the Christians joined in all our festivities. So we all found a common ground to accommodate one another, and that is to live harmoniously amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, that is how we lived, and it was how we could also give a good reception to outsiders who come to visit. And those that visited found but nothing found nothing but people that smiled, people that welcomed people, so they felt uh, very much welcomed, and they could be themselves. And when they go out, they'll go and talk about the good reception they had in Gambia whilst they came to Gambia. uh, that was why Gambia was called the smiling coast of West Africa,
Exactly.
because we made sure that we cared about one another. We supported one another in times of sorrow, and shared our happiness as well. Sadly, in the recent years, we would all agree that this has changed a lot. The way we were before was why we were proclaimed the secular state, where Muslims and Christians can live harmoniously together with despite their differences.
Exactly.
Okay, this all, if as far as I can remember, this all started from back in well, it could have been longer than that, but it became very much more obvious when Yahya Jammeh pronounced Gambia an Islamic Republic back in 2015.
Exactly.
So we have totally lost it as Gambians, and I believe we're all responsible for this happening. Okay, now it's done, the damage is done. We have to make sure that we're moving on. The time now is to correct the mistakes that we have made, to bring back the good old days where we had the smiling coast. As it is right now, it's not the same, because we have uh, people character assassinating in the name of politics, people directly personal attacks. This is not something that would help us. Gambia belongs to all of us. Okay, so it is for us to make sure that we're coming together and put our differences aside. The most important thing is Gambia belongs to all of us, and it is in our interest that Gambia forges ahead. How do we do that? Make sure that we come together and select the right leaders who we know are going to represent us all.
Exactly.
Not just one part, but the entire the Gambian community, right? So we should all come together and make sure that we're vetting these leaders that we're supporting. Because if we just want anybody to lead us, we have been there before, and we know what that brought us. So we don't want to be stagnated. We don't want to keep going back to what happened. We want to move on. So now, moving on, what we now need to do is make sure that we're actually looking into our leaders and select the right one who would serve us all, who serves all our interests.
Exactly.
And this is why we're saying Pdois is the right party. Because we have seen all the leadership qualities that one would expect and respect to entrust them with power in Halifa Saleh. He has been nothing but consistent throughout. Like everybody in Gambia, whether you're in a different political party or you're in Pdois party, we all agree one thing, which is his character. Right? Nobody have ever come out to say he's done this that is not accepted.
Exactly.
So in that respect, I think the time is now that we allow him to come and lead us, because we know for fact he would not segregate anyone. The problem we have is us as Gambians. We are afraid of change. Change is the only constant thing in life.
Yeah.
So if we're afraid to change, then change is never going to come. The ideology that we were used to has done us no good. Pdois has come with a difference, and it is obvious to all of us. Plain simple. You don't need to go to university to understand how Pdois is going to benefit you. In fact, the person that has never gone to school one day should understand, because in the simplicity that they give their message, it is quite clear and everything is on the table. This is why Pdois is not imposing on anyone to join Pdois.
By choice.
It is by informed choice.
Exactly.
Pdois has come out and given you information for you to look into. Make up your own mind.
Yeah.
The decision is yours to take. It is your birthright as a Gambian to decide what you want to do or who you want to vote for.
Exactly.
Collectively, Gambia is ours. So it is our responsibility that we make sure that we're pushing the right people. So please, people, Pdois is the answer. Thank you, Safia.
Thank you very much, sister. You are right, and Pdois is the answer. Gambians know that now, that Pdois is the answer. Badolo murutana rin kota mbena kamin fale mbeni karole di la Gambia nola. Mpawol la family kono nimbe siri na family kono. Mpawol ya lo mbena kodo karafana. Mpawol la family kono na nafulo. Mba karafana jumala. Na buntung nkanna nyol ke dame. Ben ka ñoo fintindi ka suma musole mano suma musole ka londe mba chabo di la jumal muna ken nan ka wolke parce que family kono mbeki dem family kono mbele tam family ti bari muna ken din nan ka tombon ka di mo kilina ite marani jikolo ma manki jiko dammat na lonne ko asimuna keno na lonne ko abi atakukela men na lon ko wala be family tora la sama woto nin ku men bonya mena murula narin ko take bot na lun tamba nata sabula ni mol se ñoo kontom folo o kolan sina continue nga programo mbe dandin dame na ngake welcome Marville Robinson, brother. I welcome you with huge welcome to Pdois. Sister Day, we have a great man with us. I will leave you to allow him to come and explain to Gambians about something important about himself. You can go ahead.
Hey, hello, welcome, Mr. Roberts.
Hello, well, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you? And Safiong, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome,
Good.
welcome.
To see you in the Kachaa.
Thank you. By the way, people are sending me messages asking me how they can watch the program. I don't know how can I share it on my page, because I don't know what.
Go on Facebook. Are you on the Pdois platform?
I should think so.
Yes.
Are you sharing it? Are you sharing it on your page? If you are, then I can reshare.
Yes, there we go. I'll do
Yeah,
that.
I think if Mr. Job is listening and he have your number, he can send the link to you so that you can share it.
Absolutely, yeah. Because they're just asking me, and I've just said I don't know. So I keep telling them I don't know how to, how to do it.
Right, there you go. It's on my page right now.
Okay, so let me see if I can just share it real quick.
Okay. For those share, I know not only Mr. or how should I call you, Honorable or Mr. or anything. Programs.
I'm just Melville. Melville is all right.
Okay. Anybody that is watching now, you can share the program so that people can come and learn. Very important topics we are having today. And don't forget, we are not forgetting, Pdois have served Gambia for 35 years. And it is very important, any currency that you are using, to at least every year of Pdois service, one of your currency, which will take it to 35. Give your 35 in any currency to Pdois to say thank you for your services. And pray Pdois to have another 35 years of success. And that success will be in State House. Add that to your prayers. So, Mr. Melvin, you are welcome. You can tell people that are in Kachaa that does not know you, does not see you, just give us some important about who are you.
Oh, that's a tough one, because I told Nay before the program that you better not ask me who I am, because my response would be I am Melville. I don't know what else to say, but it's really a difficult one. But to be honest, I'm just Melville Robertson. Roberts, just an ordinary Gambian, a small fish in a rather big pond. And that's about it. Profession, yes. I'm a lawyer. And that's it.
That's exactly where we go. If you could give a bit of background about your education, your career, things like that, you can run us through that.
Okay. I'm a lawyer. I'm sure you know that. My expertise is in international law, foreign policy, and diplomacy. I've completed 2 master's programs from the University of Oxford. Currently doing a PhD in international law, but a concentration in weapons law and the law of armed conflict. I worked for, well, I still technically work for the government of the Gambia, even though I'm on an approved leave of absence. I worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation, and Gambians Abroad. Of course, I went to school both in Gambia, America, and in England. So that's it. What else, Antinde?
Thank you. Ndey?
Ndey seems to be frozen at the moment.
Yes, she's even muted, I think. Anyway, thank you very much for that. We welcome you once again in our family. I know you must be following Pdois. And now we can confirm that you decided to join the party wholeheartedly to support the party. Why?
Basically, see, the people that know me would tell you that I am a person of my own conviction. So for a number of years and for a long time, I've got various individuals trying to get me to join their party. And this runs across at least almost every political party in the Gambia at the time. So from UDP to CA to APRC to NPP. But for me, it was not about acquaintances. It was not about the people I know. I needed to be convinced beyond a certain point. So nobody can tell you that, oh, I convinced Melville to be part of Pdois, or I convinced Melville to be part of the UDP, because it was not going to be on an individual basis. That's not how I operate. I like to do things in my own way and on my own terms, understanding it, believing in it, because once I do, it is a done deal. So for the way I see politics is just like a relationship, or should I say a marriage. If you enter into any relationship or marriage because of a particular or because of something, what happens is that something has to keep you in that marriage. So for example, if you marry a person because of material wealth, and that person happens to get into tough luck, hard luck, and becomes poor, there is nothing that would keep you in that marriage, because the very lifeline on which that marriage is dependent on, the very foundation on which that relationship is premised on, is absent. So what would happen is that marriage would break down. Exactly. If you get married because of security, and you go to a point whereby your partner is not offering you that security, what would happen is that relationship would disintegrate, because that was the very basis on which that relationship and or marriage was built. So therefore, if I were to join any political party on the basis of acquaintanceship, on the basis of the people I know, on the basis of friendship, on the basis of what is trending, on the basis of what is fashionable, the day that does not happen, I will not be able to be part of that party. So the day I fall out with that individual, the day that friendship ends, the day that it is not fashionable again with whatever party it is, the day that it is not trending to be part of that political party, whatever it is that brought me to that party would certainly vanish or disappear. And that would be my membership, or my allegiance to that party will also disappear. And this is not something new. If you look at our political landscape, you see one individual jump from UDP to NPP to GDC to NRP and back to NPP. And you ask yourself, what values does this person hold dear to them? What is it that you understand? It's like when you have a government. If you have a government and you hold a particular portfolio in a particular government, for example, if you hold a position, let's say a position of foreign minister, I'll give you that example because I understand more about the foreign ministry and about foreign policy. If you hold the position of a foreign minister in a particular government, and then there is a shift or a change of government, I find it very difficult how such an individual would be able to sell the agenda and policies of a particular government and still be able to do so with a new government who's got a different policy and a different agenda. Because whatever you are selling for that particular government has to be based not only on principles, but it has to be based on personal belief, personal knowledge, personal understanding of the agenda of that particular government. So therefore, if you have a different government in place, I don't understand how you can suddenly shift, suddenly change positions to sell the agenda of a subsequent government whose policies, ideologies, objectives are radically different and opposed to the previous one. But this is what you see in our politics. You see one person selling the agenda of NPP, selling the agenda of UDP, and tomorrow radically shift and try to sell the agenda of a radically different political party and its objective. So, for example, CA. And then you see them switch again and come back. But what is happening and what people fail to realize is they join these parties not out of conviction, but out of an allegiance based on particular something. So in the absence of that particular something, in the absence of what they want, in the absence of what it was that got them into that party, they would have to leave and they would have to shift.
Exactly.
So for me, this was not going to happen to me. So what I have done over the years is to study critically, and I have looked at every single aspect of the various political parties. So I've looked at their manifesto, I've looked at their objectives, I've looked at the realities of seeing those manifestos come into fruition, because it is no more about how wonderful, phenomenal, and beautiful your manifesto is. It is not about that. It is about how you can transform your manifesto into actual realities when you are handed over the mantle of leadership. So you can have the most brilliant ideas, you can have the most formidable policies in place, but if you do not have a step-by-step realistic objective, if you do not have an understanding of the terrain that you're entering to, if you do not have the knowledge, the requisite skill and understanding of how government machinery works, then trust me, it is absolutely difficult to bring your policies, your ideologies, your manifestos to reality. So therefore, I needed to understand, I needed to look at the different manifestos from the different parties. I needed to look at their objectives and how realistic it would be if they assume power to roll it out. Therefore, I was not going to be caught by textbook politics. I was not going to be caught by theoretical advancement of policies that have not been tested practically. But the approach that is there, the approach that is being lined up, is an approach of theoretical ideologies that I know, being in governance, being in a senior position in government, understanding the dynamics of government, understanding the shortfall of government, I know that these are not realistic plans. They're beautiful. You absolutely love them. They're catchy, but it's not about that. We are at a crossroad in our country. We are at a point whereby it is not about oratory skills. It is not about how well a person can speak. It is not about how well a person can talk. It is not about how well a person can deliver. Yes, these are beautiful traits, but these are not what makes a country to move. What you need are practicable ideologies that can be practicalized once a particular leader or a party assumes the mantle of leadership in a particular country. And I have listened, and if you understand my position, it took me a whole while, but then I needed to see a leader take a platform and break down their ideologies, break down their manifesto, break down their objective and vision for the Gambia, and make me understand that they have a plan in place, but not only a plan, but a plan that can be actualized, a plan that is feasible, a plan that can be done, a plan that is doable. And this is what I saw when I watched the debate between Honorable Halifa Sallah and Honorable Dr. Cisse. And let me make this point abundantly clear. I absolutely admire Dr. Cisse. I think Dr. Cisse has very good policies in place. But my position is that I do not believe that these are policies that can be implemented in 2021. I don't believe that these are policies that can be practicalized with the current economic situation of our country. I do not believe these are policies that can be brought to fruition based on what is and the existential crisis that we face as a nation, based on how we are, based on our governance structure, based on the system in place, based on a very weak civil service, based on a public sector that is not as efficient as it should be, based on a public sector that is being strangulated, based on a tax regime that is exhaustive, and I do not believe that the plans that he has in place something that can be actualized in the very distant future. What I believe is that he's got brilliant ideas, wonderful policies, but I also believe that he has to understand the structures of governance. He has to understand the system of government in place that we have at the moment. And this is why I think, for me, the best logical outcome would be for somebody like Dr. Cisse, with all his formidable plans, to partner with Pdois, learn from the expertise and experience of the Honorable Salah, and together move the Gambia forward. Because the objective shouldn't be about assuming the role of presidency. The objective should be the overall progress of the entire nation and the entire Gambia by extension.
Thank you very much. I see you are out sometime, but anyway,
yes.
Welcome back.
I would like to apologize there. I was having some technicalities with my internet, so I'm sorry about that.
No, don't worry.
Yes, thank you very much, Melville. Before we get to the next question, I just wanted to remind everyone that we're still seeking for the donations. You guys come out with your donation. On behalf of a new member here, Melville Roberts, I want to see people with hundreds of pounds flowing through, So the link has been shared. You can either use PayPal. The GoFundMe link is there as well. So please do go ahead and donate generously. We'll appreciate that. Thank you. So, Mr. Roberts, yes, thank you very much for that. I would ask you now, what would you say to other people like yourselves who were sitting on the fence and not sure what party to support? And if they were already in another party, what would you say to them to come and join about joining the Doi party?
Okay, a point of correction. I was never sat on the fence. I was taking my time to study, understand, and to also identify myself with a party that I believe I share the same ideologies with, that I believe that can practicalize whatever it is that they're selling, their agenda to the Gambian populace. So I was at no point sitting on any fence. What I had consistently done is to refuse to align myself with any political party, and I had my reasons for that, which I have just advanced in my previous response.
Yeah.
Now, to those people that are sitting on the fence and to those people that are in other political parties, the question that should be asked by every Gambian is, are we happy about the status quo? Are we happy about the reality that we find ourselves right now as Gambians? And the honest answer to this, regardless of party affiliation, is that no, we are not happy. We are not satisfied, because we believe that in order to enjoy the privileges and benefits that should come as a Gambian, in Gambia, thriving and working in Gambia, we believe that we have not arrived at that point yet. And the only way that we can see a radical shift from what is to what we should or what ought to be is to have a government in place that can understand the realities and the struggles of the average Gambian. You see, I'll tell you something that most people don't know, and that is the fact that I have long since had some sort of understanding and, should I say, close proximity with the leadership of Pdois, not necessarily Honorable Halifa Sallah or Honorable Sidi Ajata, but Mr. Adam Abba of the Pdois was someone I knew very well, someone I've had a lot of conversations with. And at some point in time, I remember asking, visiting, he took me for a tour. He had this farm or garden or something that he was running with some tourism, based company or something. And whilst he was taking me on tour and showing me the farm, I asked him, I said, why are you supporting Pdois? I said, it's a losing party. It's a party that will never win an election. I said, so why are you supporting the party? And of course, he explained to me the ideologies of the party. He explained to me his reasons of being a part of Pdois. At the time, I did not agree with him. I still did not agree with him almost 20 years after that. And you and I have had robust conversation on Pdois, and you know my position. My position has always been that a political party, aside of understanding the realities of its people, must be able to evolve around the needs and circumstances and realities of those individuals. And I believe this is what I'm seeing in Pdois right now. I told you, when I saw Pdois go on a road show, on a carnival, with young people being part of it and understanding, I called you. I was like, wow, is this happening? When I saw Pdois had a congress and I heard music playing in the background, I was like, is this the same Pdois that I know? And for me, our politics cannot be divorced of our culture. The culture of Africans, for say Gambian, Senegambian, is drumming and dancing. This is our culture. This is what we know. And your politics have to be fused with your culture so that people can see themselves and understand that the political party is a life. It's something that you breathe. It's something that you live. You have to be able to be free in your political party. You have to be able to be yourself. You have to be able to celebrate your existence within the political party structure that you are part of. And for me, this is a great shift. So yes, the ideologies have always been beautiful, but I felt at some point the party was too stiff for me. I felt that I cannot be in an environment where I cannot be myself. I cannot be in an environment that's going to constrict me and take the very foundation of my person out of myself just because I want to share political affiliation. So this has shifted. The party, when it comes to technological advancement, I don't see any political party that is on the same platform with Pdois. I mean, when you sent me the Pdois app, you remembered my reaction. I was like, Pdois has an app? You know, for me, these are the things that I expected to see. So yes, the party had always been brilliant. They've always had wonderful ideologies. You see, what people have to understand, systems of government, ideologies, are things that are not abstract. So for example, let's take democracy. This was not built on an abstract premise. This came about in consistent and persistent pattern of the way of life and culture of the people. So when you talk about the socialist ideology, it does not mean that when you try to roll out a socialist agenda in the Gambia, it would follow the pattern that is used exactly verbatim in Norway or Sweden. It has to factor the realities of the particular location that it's going to be rolled out at. And what I saw when Honorable Salah delivered and presented and defended his manifesto on the debate night was to show how his socialist ideologies, how his manifesto took into account the Gambian reality.
Correct.
It took into account the status quo of Gambia. It took into account the hypothetical vision that he has for Gambia. And what he did was to balance it with what has been obtained for the past 52 years, and to show you the shortfalls, to show you how they have been able to put up and lay down strategies to mitigate those very pitfalls and shortfalls that the previous governments have had to undergo. So this is a practical plan. It is a plan that is not based on some abstract theory. It is a plan that can be actualized. It is a plan that is doable. If you are a mathematical genius, you could actually put his plans into a common formula.
Yeah.
It is not something that is not possible. And when people tell me, when he mentioned about issues of having a corporate, not a corporate,
cooperative.
What's the word again?
The cooperative banking system.
Yes, but there's a particular word for it. But let's say the cooperative banking system, and talking about the resources. I'm because I'm a bit
looking for the word. Yes, I get.
I just want that exact word that he used. But these are not abstract things. These are the realities. These are the way that other progressive countries are running their economy. So yes, I believe in having
sovereign national wealth.
Sovereign national wealth.
Yeah.
Sovereign national wealth. It is not an abstract theory. In fact, every progressive home is actually living the ideologies of collective sovereign national wealth.
Yeah.
So if you have a husband, you have a wife, you have kids, what is happening in that home? Even whereas it is the husband who's coming with the finances, you have the mother who's actually putting her time and energy in raising that kid, in raising those kids, in raising your child, in taking care of the home. So yes, the husband goes out and work in the instances where that is applicable. But what happens? They pool their resources together. The resources are not limited to financial resources. So you have financial resources. You have human capacity resources. You have the technical know-how of the woman to manage resources, to manage the horse, to manage the family, and they pull this together for the collective benefit of their family. This is what we're talking about. And what he's talking about is this particular ideology at a larger platform, at a national platform. So we have the resources, they are there. Pull them together for the benefit of the entire nation. There are particular instances where you need the private sector, but there are just certain institutions, there are just certain things that it is not for the private sector to take on. It is the responsibility of a government. So yes, you want to try on foreign direct investment. But your country, your economy cannot be dependent on FDI. It cannot. No sustainable economy would be dependent on foreign direct investment. You talk about premium bonds. You talk about government bonds, corporate bonds. A country cannot be dependent on bonds because bonds are technically loans. They have to be paid back. We are already choked as a nation with loans. Our debt ratio is skyrocketing. So you cannot have an economy, you cannot have a system that is going to be dependent on further loan. So these are things that came out for me in that debate. And I feel these are things that every Gambian should look at. We have tried a particular method for the past 52 years. The method did not work. And the reason why I say the method did not work is because even in countries where socialist ideologies were practiced, even whereas they have departed from those ideologies, the foundation that has been the foundation that was left. Sorry, somebody was just calling my phone. The foundation that was left behind by the agenda, by the institutions that were built around the socialist principle, they are still there for all to see. And that is why these countries are still thriving. So if you make the argument to say that I have seen it failed in Russia, I have seen it failed here, I have seen it fail there, but what you don't take into account is the context by which you would assess whatever is failure. Exactly. How can you assess the failure vis-a-vis what we have in Gambia in a mostly capitalist economy as long as we have existed? So what then would you compare? Who has failed? Is it those countries and their theories that have failed, or is it our capitalist ideologies that have failed in our own backyard? And all I'm saying is, if we have given it a shot as a nation for the past 52 years, I don't see any harm in trying it out differently.
That's right.
And this is my belief.
Thank you very much.
That is correct. But I would like to, Safiong, if you would allow me, just to remind the people, remind Melvin himself for saying that the Doi changed and had to join in, like the culture is doing, make the culture of cooking savar here and all that. But I want you to remember, Doi was a party from the beginning, since Jawara's time. Joining the party Doi was some sort of a stigma. So people were not coming out, even if they were supporters of Doi. Okay, so this started happening. People can now openly come out and say, I am supporting Doi, therefore you can actually show the people. This was nothing that Doi chose not to do. Okay, they didn't do it that way. Remember also, Doi is a party that is funded by its own militants. Okay, we don't have any other multi-millionaire sitting there who is just pumping money like we hear in other parties. It doesn't work like that with Doi. Therefore, it would be very difficult for Doi to get up and just like now. That's because the numbers are coming. Now we were able to do the caravan because we have so many Doi members now who are registered members, who are Doi sympathizers and are ready to fund, to inject their money into the party just because of their country, not because they want anything in return, but just a greater Gambia for the common good of all. So that was one of the main reasons why you were not seeing that. But we're evolving, but the most important thing is, Doi has always been consistent, and as you said, they have what it takes to take Gambia ahead. That's the most important. But it doesn't matter anyhow. Right now, the groove is on as well. So we're saying, people, if you want more of that groove, you know what to do. Support Doi. Doi is going to be out there, most importantly, to talk to the people, especially the ones in the grassroots who don't get the Doi's message. Now, for this message to get to them, Doi would want to do a caravan tour. We have just celebrated our 35 years. Anything that you donated towards that, it's going to go to help us get further. So come on, guys, you do it. Give us your support. Bring in the donations. Thank you. Safiong, you go ahead.
I see one donation from Gambia. He's watching from Gambia, and he donated $35 a amazing man. What are we waiting that we, the people that are living in abroad, let us come out. And I want to tell the followers that anybody that donated £100 or €100 or $100, I will give you a Doi t-shirt. You will just send your address to Musa Job, and I will make sure you have the t-shirt that will be coming from my side. So you people, the first person that donates 100 of any currency you have, I will make sure you have your t-shirt before the end of the month. That is to tell you people. And what I was saying before, Doi is not only about what people define Doi. Amanki nyinti dorong ikafole ha socialiso limiti so at a work because I'm a work jana. Be Gambia lema Gambia need tamunela sign pour que Gambia bondi. Amanki hani sovereign national wealth kawo fond amanki wo fond damat. But Doi damale new sort of in mind ka expert bank sort of ala policy anala program ol kono Gambia dingu be daoda ye expertise sort you can come back to Gambia and work. All the manifestos that existed in that country, no manifesto has this plan to create an expert bank to invite every expertise as well as you are a Gambian, you want to come. Those some have money, they can invest. Some have expertise, they can come and use that expertise inside Gambia. Serve Gambian people better than where they are, because Gambia need them more than where they are. And Mr. Malvin, what did you see the expert bank and what it can give to Gambian people?
Well, one thing is very clear. Anywhere you go in the world today, there are Gambians, very, very talented and well-learned Gambians, and any international organization that you go to in the world, there are Gambians at the top. So Gambia does not lack human resources. Gambia does not lack human resources. What Gambia lacks is an environment, an enabling environment that can allow such individuals to thrive and maximize the best of their profitable potential. This is what Gambia lacks. Gambia does not lack human capacity. Absolutely not. Because I think there are more professional Gambians outside of Gambia than Gambia itself, really. So Gambia does not lack that. Now, with the talent bank, objective of the Pdois, I think it's a brilliant idea. It's a formidable idea. But again, it is something that has to be actualized. You see, having a talent bank is one thing. But having a talent bank, it has to go hand in hand with very captivating incentives that would actually require and make a person leave their very productive and well-paid job in the West or wherever they are to come back home and give back. If you look at the pattern or the formula that Ghana has laid out, it is one that is working. So the Ghanaians are not saying, okay, because you're being paid $100 in America, when you come to Ghana, or you have to understand this is Ghana and we'll pay you 5 cities. No, that is not what they're saying. Human resources is very vital. Without human resources, you cannot move a country forward. So the basis, the understanding should be that human resources is just as good as natural resources. You need human resources to actually capitalize on the natural resources so that it could be of benefit to an entire nation. Because if you lack the human capacity to manage the affairs of your human of your natural resources, what we would see is something that is happening in Nigeria, that is a country that is actually producing a large percentage of the world's gas reserve, but yet still most households in Nigeria are powered by generators. That is not what you want. You can see what is happening in the Gambia. Even though we have an ocean with absolutely large species of marine resources, but how are Gambians benefiting from that? So Gambians are not benefiting from their own resources, from their marine resources in the ocean. It is not because they cannot benefit from it. It is because of the lack of human resources that can adequately manage, adequately legislate laws, adequately lay down productive and progressive policies that would ensure the conservation of Gambia's marine resources, but not only that, but also put down policies and laws in place that would avoid the exploitation of its marine resources, so that whatever is produced from our ocean would be the benefit of every Gambian. So therefore, the talent bank is absolutely important, because without the talent bank, without human resources, it is absolutely hard to move a nation forward. So you can have all the brilliant ideas. It is not that the present government are not having good policies. The policies are there. The policies are there. Do you know how many workshops and conferences are there that are held in the Gambia on a weekly basis? But do we ask ourselves, how are these policies implemented into actual realities for the benefit of every Gambian? So this is where you actually need human resources, people with experience, people who have worked in other countries, people who have worked in international organizations, people that understand how to be on the job, that understand how to set goals, not only set goals, but achieve them, and not only achieve them, but achieve them in a timely manner.
You are muted, sister.
That was right, Mr. Roberts. It's the key word there is to achieve things in a timely manner. We don't have much time. December, well, 2021, obviously, but I'm not sure about the election day itself, but it's just around the corner. So let's all make sure that we're doing exactly that, which is what? Select the right leaders. Select the leaders who have the interests of Gambia. No doubt, Khalifa Saleh has displayed these qualities. They've backed it up with programs and policies that are for the benefit of all Gambians. Let's not make the same mistakes we've made before. It's going to be very costly, and it would be very hard to recover from that. We want to take Gambia forward. The likes of Rwanda. That's where I'm going to migrate to if we refuse to give Khalifa Saleh this country, because then I have no hope.
We need you here.
Yes, definitely. Because now I am hoping that Gambians would do the right thing so we can all enjoy our country the way we should.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah, okay. But people, like Safiong just said, we don't have much time. It's about 1 hour already. So
no, I'm saying it's time now we change Gambia.
Exactly. It is time now.
10 minutes on it.
Yeah, okay, good. So please, people, join in the wagon. DOI is the way forward. Give your full support. Register as a member. If you're still undecided, Please do like Mr. Melville here did. Research, read through their programs and policies. Get to understand why you should vote for any leader. You fail to do that, Gambia is not going anywhere. You're just going to cast your vote for somebody that is not going to benefit you one day. It's election time. Anybody can just come out and tell you anything just to make sure that you hear them out and give them their votes. Your votes. In return, what did you gain? What was it your benefit? So let's avoid that happening. Let's go back, look into things, come out, and I promise you, Pdois is the right party. Again, I can never be tired of saying that. It is in our interest that we give the mantle to Pdois. Okay, so I'm also saying, please come out with your donations. Have we got any other person that donated, Safiong?
Well, I didn't see it. Maybe Musa can help us with that.
Right.
Because I'm not even watching the comment section.
Okay, probably Brother Musa can help us.
As it's saying, it is just, we have 1 hour and now we make 1 hour 5 minutes. Mr. Robin, Marvin, you can just advise Gambians what to do in December 4th. And that will be, maybe we will reorganize the reschedule it again to come back. What last words you have for Gambians on the 4th December? What decision they make?
The issue is, I think this is the most important election in our nation's history. I think what we saw in 2016 was, and of course I have my own understanding and position with respect to the coalition, but what we saw in Gambia in 2016 was a single objective, and there was a split in the middle. It was people that still wanted the former President Jammeh to be in power, and people that were tired of his governance and wanted to see him leave. So the choice was very clear. It was well demarcated, so it was an easy choice for Gambians to make. The situation is rather different. What we are seeing now is a series of options, because we have so many political parties. But the objective is the most important, because now, for those that were calling that we don't want former President Jammeh, that is something that has already happened. So that's spilled. Now, the question is, how do we move this nation in the absence of President Jammeh? And my problem with this government, quite honestly, is the fact that in 5 years, from what I see from my own vantage point of view, is that so much attention has been given to the former president. So rather than roll out their policy, rather than factor the average Gambian that is struggling and looking for circumstances or looking for situations how you can mitigate and help salvage them from whatever they're going through, the talk is always about former President Jammeh, what he did, how bad the country was. Now, the objective is very clear. It is about your future. It is about my future and the future of our children. What do we want to leave? What is the legacy that we want to leave behind? And the choice, even though it seems not very clear because the options are a lot. The options are a lot. But then it is left to every Gambian to be able to see and identify themselves in what they want and where they want to be in 2022. If you're happy, and this is my belief, I don't believe in forcing anyone towards a particular political party. What I want everyone to see is where they are now and where they want to be. And honestly look at the options that are before you and advise yourself honestly, sincerely, and inwardly who amongst all the different political party heads you feel can best bring your situation to a point of progress and prosperity. So that for me is the clear message. That is the clear message. And if Gambians do not see that and feel that they are satisfied with the status quo, which I believe they are not, then trust me, it is what it is. But I know, even though the options are a lot, the decision to choose is very clear. And I believe that with the agenda that the Pdois has and what they have put before Gambians, I believe objectively, honestly, that they are in a better position to salvage our country and take the Gambia to the next level.
Thank you very much.
The choice is clear.
Thank you very much. Sister Ney, your last advice to Gambians about...
Yes, before that, I would just like to say that there's a show coming up tomorrow, so you guys look forward to that. It would be Sister Elizabeth and Anita. They would also be having Mr. Salah, Uncle Khalifa. So you guys be on the lookout for that show tomorrow, I believe around about the same time. But again, I'll reiterate, we cannot say this enough. Let's just please look into Pdois and everything that they have to offer. I'm sure we don't even need to dig much because Pdois has been here and they've been consistent all the way. So now it is just a matter of time to just sit back in your own self and reflect, think, what is it really that you want for your country? What is it really that you want for your future children? What is it really that you yourself want? Are you sort of contented with what you have right now? Which I believe not anyone in Gambia would say that, because the way things are going in Gambia, the way they have been in the past decades up to now, there isn't any change. So the only change that will come is Pdois, because they're the only one that came with a different ideology which fits the purpose of Gambia. So please, guys, give Pdois your support and go out and donate as well. We'll appreciate every single butur that you guys put towards Pdois. It is for every single Gambian. It's going to benefit us all together. So we thank you very much for watching. And yes, Brother Safiong, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, Mr. Robertson. So yes.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Safiong.
Thank you very much and goodbye.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone that's watching.
Bye-bye.